So, there are some awesome upgrades and unlockables that you can get quite early in Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Today we're going to go over some new powers that will likely change the way you play, and a few hidden features that you can completely miss out on if you're not being careful. Also, congratulations to our winner for the Deluxe Edition giveaway of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. For everybody else, don't worry, I'm doing another one starting today. All you have to do is to be a subscriber of the channel, hit the like button, and leave a comment below this video. Anyway, right after you arrive in Rambler's Reach, you'll get to visit Doma Dendra's shop, and you'll notice a mysterious key code sold for 10 priorite shards. This actually unlocks the room to your left, giving you access to your first stim canister upgrade. I know it's tempting to buy some of the cosmetic options instead, but I suggest going for the key code to get an extra healing stim early on. Not only will the game shower you in lots more cosmetics as you go on anyway, but if you keep an eye out to shiny things, especially inside caves, you'll get lots of priorite shards anyway to eventually afford the remaining options. Plus, there are some really strong fights for great rewards coming in a bit, so you'll want to get as much heal ups as possible. The next vendor is going to be Z, the droid that you get to unlock via a very early story mission on Kobo. Around this time is when you'll also start getting more of these data discs as you start exploring and doing the rumors and dungeons like I suggested in the Perfect Start guide. Once you do that, you'll be able to access Z shops upstairs in Pyloon Saloon, where you can spend these data discs in exchange for an upgrade and some of the new perks. Again, my suggestion here is to grab the perk slot upgrade, even if it costs a bit more. This will provide one extra perk point so you can fit a lot more of these perks and get a lot more benefits. We'll talk about a really great and easy to get early perk in a bit, but if you don't want the perk slot yet, then here are some of the other options and the ones I recommend. First, I suggest versatility, as this lets you deal extra damage temporarily after switching the lightsaber stances. The buff is really short, but switching stances doesn't have a cost, and you'll want to do that often anyway. Why not get a damage buff on top? Otherwise, if you don't like that, then you can go with the equilibrium, especially if you tend to spam your force powers quite a bit. This is now also going to increase the damage of your next lightsaber attack by quite a bit. However, one of the best early perks drops during the rumor called Find Missing Prospectors. This is actually located in a cave not too far away from Rambler's Reach, but you should know there's going to be a tough Rancor boss that you will have to fight here. And if you win, you'll get the Shatter perk, which is only 2 slots, but makes you become more effective at breaking enemy guards. There's lots of Purge Troopers, BX droids, and raiders that have really good defenses, so you don't want to constantly get blocked by them and eventually do want to break their guards. This helps quite a bit with that. To get it, once inside, make sure you take the central path towards the big room onto the left side right here as you get past the zip line in the same area. Here you're going to have to fight the Rancor, which is more than enough damage to basically one-shot you with almost all its attacks. So here are some of the suggestions that I have. Most of his attacks consist in ground smashes that unleash powerful shockwaves, so make sure you stay on your toes and always jump away. The same with the swipes, dodge back, and maybe even to the side. This is what's going to help you quite a bit, but you have to be careful at the movements. It's always going to take roughly 2 seconds between each attack, especially after the unblockable red ones that you see right here, sending the debris flying towards you. So what you can do in this case is to dodge to the side and then quickly make your way towards the Rancor and try to get at least 2 or 3 strong hits in before just going away. Also be careful when he's doing his charge and grab attack, as this will literally one-shot you no matter how much HP you've got, and for this it's best to just dodge to the side to completely miss it. I actually managed to beat the Rancor with no damage on my 25th run, so yeah, good luck with that. At number 4, there's an awesome minigame in Jedi Survivor called Holo Tactics. It comes packed with rewards, it lets you pretty much pin any troop in the game against one another, but it's also completely missable. So to get it, you first need to recruit these 2 peculiar characters called Tali and Bima. You'll find them on this random rock pillar thingy in the Boiling Bluff area, very close to the main town. Once recruited, they'll head over to the saloon and you'll be able to access the new minigame onto the 2nd floor. This will let you challenge other characters you meet from the main story and some from the side missions to a game of holo tactics that lets you pit various types of enemies against one another in a fight to the basically death. What's awesome is that the minigame will use the units you have defeated and scanned by playing the normal way, so I highly recommend you to always scan these new enemies whenever you defeat them, especially as you encounter stronger ones, and then you can unlock them inside the game and just like destroy everything with them. If you successfully defeat your opponents, you can get more resource rewards that can be used at the previous vendors I talked about, even cosmetics and so on. Here's a few tactics to make each match easier, by the way. 1. Use the Rockas when you can. They are actually cheap, but basically just as OP as they are out in the wild. Basically 1-2-shotting even the bigger beasts like the Gorokos. Also, Droidekas are great as they basically get immunity to one attack via their shields, and they can also roll away, but I wouldn't put aside some of the basic units like the grenade or the rocket launching troopers, which are some of the best against large brute enemies. And finally, make sure you don't use all your summoning points in one single round. Matches have multiple of them, and if you save on them, they can carry over to the next round, so you can summon a lot more in the tougher later rounds of the same match. But let's talk about the final set of upgrades, this time around for the blaster stance, which is going to add a lot more customization to it. With this, you can further buff your damage, even get new bullet types like stun damage or ricochet bullets. You get them, by the way, from Cage, which is a traveler you've likely seen already in the saloon. The only thing is, her shop only unlocks later after a certain story mission, which also unlocks bounties. So once that happens, bounty hunters will start ambushing you, but if you defeat them, you get a new resource called bounty pucks, which you can then use at Cage to buy different upgrades. The 3 options I recommend are right here at the top, which are basically 3 upgrades. 2 of them are 2 new bullet types, including the stun shot and the ricochet, and one of them is a damage upgrade for your existing charge shot. To select between the new bullet types, you'll have to head over to any meditation point, enter into the stances menu, and then equip a different one for the blaster stance right here from the same page. Going over a quick breakdown of what each of the new ones do, starting with the stun shot. This doesn't just stun the main target, but also leaves a pretty big AoE pool of shock that can stun other nearby targets for a few seconds. This is especially useful against most human and robotic enemies, but it's otherwise really weak against some of the larger beasts from what I'm able to tell. These are probably the best option for DT sentry droids to basically keep them stun locked for the entire duration. You can just do a stun really quickly, follow up with a few melee hits, then go back, stun again, rinse and repeat until they're done. The ricochet bullets, on the other hand, are even more fun. This makes bullets to now bounce from surfaces or to an additional target. It's a great option since the ricochet can hit really hard, and it's quite great at damaging the stamina bar too. Its biggest downside are of course the BX droids, since they tend to dodge a lot, but occasionally you can still get them by surprise. Ricochet can also happen after a short delay, so even if you don't see it pop right away, it's still going to do it after a few seconds. If however you prefer the more direct damage, you can still continue with the charge shot, as it also has a nice upgrade from the same vendor. However, you might lose on some of the utility from the other options. Last but not least, to complement your newfound blaster powers, there's another perk super strong that makes all your shots deal even more damage, and that's via the marksmanship perk, which you can get from the region called Stone Spires, specifically from the Grand Courtyard meditation point right here on the map. You will however need to progress a bit in the main story until you reach this point and unlock it. But once you've done so with everything in it, you can then take the cable up the upper levels and then climb the vines at the top of this broken tower. Here you're going to find the perk and you'll be able to grab it right away. I tested this a bit with and without it, and it seems to offer about a 25% damage buff. In this case, testing without it against the Stormtrooper takes about half of its HP. Meanwhile, with the perk activated, it takes about 3/4 of it, so that's quite a big increase. In my opinion, worth it, especially if you like this stance, as it takes advantage of all the extra damage. Anyway, that's about it. If you want to stay up to date with more content like this, then make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like and activate that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video.